Well, hello! Welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and I'm joined with hubby.
Hubcap.
And today we are working on the horse's mouth. Alrighty. So, I do need to remember this, that if you're new or you're not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, this is really dark, so I'm going to go ahead and use the 18 extra small at 2.5. so that we can just get it in quicker. And I'm going to shift my board.
So Andrea, Spence, and Teresa are here.
Hey, Spence, Teresa, Andrea, and Shirley? I don't see Shirley. Okay.
And
I
Sheila.
believe you. And Sheila? Huh. I wonder. Oh, there's Shirley.
They're just joining.
They're just joining. Alrighty. So let's get started. So I do have a photo that I wanted to pop up. That is...
Pop it up.
excuse me, the horse's mouth with the outline, the pattern on top. That way it's a little easier to see what's what, because we do have some plants that are coming up over the horse's mouth that we need to make sure we leave the space for. So we have to negative burn around the leaves and the stem while still getting the shape of the horse's mouth right. So that's why I've got that photo so you guys can see it. I did that in Photoshop as well as drew my pattern. Let's see here. It's a good color of the wood, but I have to zoom it in a little bit so you guys can see. The color is going to change based on where the camera is. So we're going to get started. We know at the bottom of the wrinkles that we have really dark right here that lightens up into the wrinkles. We still have shadow, but is not as dark as the lips themselves because the lips are black. So let's get started with that. I'm just going to use the tip. I'm going to drag down, pull some of it up into the wrinkles that I can see. Now when I did the pattern, I did try to make sure that I had something representing the grasses, so we know what was what where, because we had to burn around those. For this piece, especially for the darks, we're going to be doing a lot of burning around. So I'm just dragging, bringing it in, negative burning around these leaves. Excuse me. In fact, based on my photo, I got a little bit more room to go up. So I'm just blocking in. So this is not going to be my final shade. This is just the base. And this is, again, poplar. I have everything linked down below. I'm still getting used to burning on poplar. This is the first time burning on some real stuff. So, there we go. And then we'll start having the shape of the leaves from the grasses. And this way, even when I erase, if I erase some of these leaves, that's okay because I've already negative burned around them and it's holding the place. So let's get down. Probably should zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see even closer. Woo! Alrighty. How is that? And everything sound good? I did test. So I'm trying to go with the direction of the wrinkles. And sometimes that's a little hard because I am working around things. So if I move quickly, I can control that heat. There we go. Bring it up some more.
Teresa wants to know how you like the poplar.
Still getting used to it. I like the color, and I like how it looks. I think I'm gonna reserve any full thoughts on the poplar until I have it varnished and we see how everything looks together, because I think that's going to make the biggest difference. But overall, it's burning. It's burning okay. It doesn't smell like basswood, and I got to remember that. So I have little white flowers that are round. That even though I'm going to push some of these back, I still need to kind of burn around them with the really darks. That's what I'm doing here. Looks like This comes this way. And I can go back over it slower and darken it up. And when I go to detail out, that's a lot what's going to happen. So right now I'm just blocking in so I know where everything is. And we have, let's see here, we have a lip, his bottom lip comes off. I'm assuming it's a him, but I guess it could be a her. Has some pretty eyelashes. So I need to make sure I get some darks around where some of the foliage is, even though I don't have it outlined. In fact, I probably should take a moment, because in the lighter photo, I do have a lighter photo. I do see we got a bit of lower lip. So I'm just going to sketch that in real quick. And that way, just darkening up these lines. Since I'm using HB lead, really thin, it's easy to erase. So I'm just going to darken them up so I know where they're at. And then we also have a dark right here that I didn't put in. So we'll put it here so I can see it. And then it's just a matter of going back and forth. Alrighty. So, and here's the beauty with this foliage. If I screw up, it's totally okay, because nobody is going to know unless I tell you that a specific stem or branch or flower are supposed to be right here. If I don't tell you, you don't know. And so I'm not overly stressed about the foliage.
Karen Smith is here.
Hi, Karen. Not overly stressed.
And then Val Daniels as well.
Hi, Val. So this is a little lighter, so I'm using the full bottom of the pen and just dragging very quickly. And then we have some more. And so I'm just going to sketch around.
And here's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No, go.
So Dina Awinga, I hope I'm
Hi,
pronouncing that correctly. What is the point of the burning bit, meaning your tip, blue? Is it because of heat or a different material?
It is because it's oxide. My tip has an oxide layer on, which you want an oxide layer on. And because this is a higher quality nichrome wire that's used between the oxide and the actual wire, it's blue. When this is I can show the difference between two pens, and I know I'm stopping the live, but here we go. Well, it helps if you grab the right pen. Alrighty, so this is a 3-year-old tip that I've been using for, actually it'll be 4 years in September. Let me get it. So it's all nice and clean. It does still have an oxide layer on it, but when you get it new, this is a brand new one. This is how they come. And Pat puts an oxide layer on the shaders. That's how they come. And what the oxide layer does is it helps the oxide layer is stronger than carbon. And so when you go to clean your tip, the carbon falls off easier and just makes your tip easier to clean. It also helps with the glide of a tip. That goes along with the polishing. If the tip's not very polished, it does not glide well over the wood. And here's the thing, if you've been using one particular burner for a long time, yeah, you may not notice the difference because you're used to it. But then when you try a pen that's highly polished, it kind of blows your mind a little bit. Alright, so let's get some of these darks around here in the mouth, and then we'll move on. Again, just blocking in. Wherever I feel a dark for the foliage needs to be, I'll put it in there. Bounce around. Now the ball tips, the smaller ones aren't blue because they are, I believe, a different nichrome wire and made differently. It's all part of the process. Alrighty, so we have our darks here now. As we move up, I'm going to go ahead and bump down to 1.5 because I know this tip holds heat longer, so it burns slightly different. And I'm going to quickly start dragging down in the direction of the mouth, because that is how the hair and lip material, I guess flesh, yeah, flesh would be the proper word for it, lip material. So we need to go in the direction. Now these are going to be darker later. Right now I'm just laying it. So now we can move up. I got a floofy right here. There's that line. Alrighty. And the hair. This edge is thicker than the 18 small. So it makes stroke. But I'm using the edge and I'm curling and I'm overlapping so that it looks random and more natural, because if I did all the same strokes without overlapping, it looks more too uniform, and that's not how nature likes to behave. So we got to pay attention. So just, even if I do quick X's, basically curved tight X's, it's giving me some change in that stroke. And then I can go back with the tip and drag, and again I'm still trying to overlap and make sure it doesn't become too uniform. And that's what I was doing up here as well. So this part, now that I've got a little bit of that in, I think I want to erase some. Did that answer Dina's question?
I think so. I haven't seen a response.
Oh, okay. So just get some of this graphite off. Still using the 18 extra small. Right now I'm not going to overly worry about fine lines because I can put those in later. And even at this lower heat, if I go slower, it still burns darker. And that's part of the pin control. Knowing when to speed up, excuse me, and slow down. Oops. And we have some heating. So we have some darker up here. And I'm not overly worrying about the stem right here because I believe in the darker photo. Let me switch. In the darker photo, the stems look darker, so I can just kind of burn silhouette those. You're so bad.
I'm multitasking.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I have one job.
Exactly.
I can multitask.
One job.
Shirley says, thank you for pointing out that you're using the edge of the tip since we can't really determine that on video. Very helpful.
I know, and I'm
multitasking.
Horse mouth light. That's the one I want. There we go. So this is a lighter photo so that we can see a little bit more of what's going on. Then the photo, the person who posted on Pixabay darkened it, or somebody did. I personally like the darker version, but you can always lighten up, and that's the photo. Granted, it's just the mouth. Oops. That's lighter. Let's move you over here. Let's get this angle right. Although we do want a bit of angle so you can see how the tip. It's really hard to get the tip to show. Sorry, don't get seasick on me. There we go. Let's see if we can get the side version so we can see. You'll have to tell me if it shows a little bit more. Right now I'm burning flat.
Burl's here.
Hey, Burl. She must have been in our garden again.
Must have been.
Let's see here. These are lighter. In fact, I have my outline darker photo of the mouth printed out, and next to it I have the lighter version just so I can see what's what and what goes where. Now I'm not going to keep it light. I'm going to go to the dark version because for me it feels more dynamic. But you do.
So, Andrea says can see it better where you're burning now.
Okay.
Val says, how did you lighten the photo? Was it just contrast?
I did it in Photoshop, and how did I do it? I noticed the photo could be lightened when I was using Photoshop Express. And I had switched it over to sepia. It looked lighter. But when I took it into Photoshop, I just bumped down the darks, and then I could see the detail. That's what it was. I was having to think, sorry. Trying to think what I did. Quick marks. Because we do have fur, hair overlapping. Do I call it fur or hair? Horse
hair.
Mane is
Horse hair.
Okay, but is that the mane or is that the whole body? Riddle me that.
No, it's not fur.
It's not fur. Okay.
Because fur has an undercoating, and hair is just hair.
But some horses have double coats.
Then those, I don't know if there's any furry horses.
There are. So we're going to go ahead and go up the bottom of the mouth. In fact, I think we're going to hit the cheek so that we can get that muscle. So that means I need to go up. And as we put more in, right now, the burns are going to look dark. But then as I put more in and adjust, what looks dark now is actually going to look lighter when there's more burn around it.
While hair and fur are terms that are used interchangeably for some animals, you will never hear an equestrian refer to their horse's coat as fur. A horse's coat is known as hair.
Okay.
However, it is often referred to as simply their coat.
Alright, so maybe we should use coat and then we don't have to worry about nothing.
Well, I think hair.
Yeah. Well, because I'm so used to doing animals and I'm so used to saying fur that I may misspeak. Alright, so I'm dragging down because I'm looking at the coat, the hair of the coat.
So fur
and following the direction.
Is dense and is dense enough to be used to create garments and other items. Hair, on the other hand, is less dense and is often much shorter.
That's interesting considering they make horsehair tulle.
Look, I'm just telling you.
I googled it, get it all.
What the internet says, okay?
Now, if I want to shape the bottom of the mouth now before I lose anything, I can go along where I know it's going to be darker, and I'm tapping to negative burn around it. So when I negative burn, it's going to look like I got sticks. Go out here, kind of tapping the tip, and I haven't adjusted. I'm still at the 1.5. But when we go to do the grass, there's going to be a lot of doing this. So I'm just going to get some in there now.
Burl has said she has seen a pony skin rug.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Somebody skinned a pony.
It probably was a pony that had already passed.
That makes...
I'm going to tell myself it was a pony that had already passed.
Yeah.
From natural causes, preferably. Excuse me. Oh, goodness. Sorry about that. We've had pollen flying around for days. So this is a darker area. So see, by going ahead and getting some of this negative burn around the mouth, it helps to start shaping it. And that's why a lot of times I try to do better in the lives about not bouncing around so much when I see something. And this is part of why. Because I know when if this isn't looking right, if I go fill this area in and then come back to this, it'll start looking better. And that's why my brain bounces around. So we have kind of the, actually, is that a grass or is that, I think that's just part of the lip. Alright, so I'm going to quickly drag because I want that a little smoother. We do have some light here, and we definitely have some light where the lip is curled back, which you can't do, obviously, I guess, with my hand. So we are going, let's see here. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go. Because right here, all these lines on my pattern, those are designating either veins or shift in muscle. So that means the hair goes in a different direction or changes. So I'm trying to pick which is which. Now this.
Oh, I guess that was the pony skin was from Iceland, and over there they eat horse meat.
Yeah.
She says she will leave the rest to your imagination.
Well, kind of like using the whole animal. And they have double hair. Their coats are double because they need the coldness. All right, so I'm trying to darken this up. I don't want to outline. That is going to be the biggest issue, is if you outline all of this, then if you're going for realism, you're going to lose it, because nothing is outlined in nature. So start off light. If you need to outline because you're new to burning, it's actually very normal, because you'll feel nervous about losing your lines. It's completely, and some people in their books and whatnot tell you to do it. But for realism, if you feel you need to do that, if you feel you need to outline because it makes you feel more comfortable and you feel like you're going to succeed, which is the most important part of it, go ahead and outline, but turn your tip down as low as you possibly can go and still see your lines. That way, when you go to burn, you can blend those outlines into the rest of the burn and nobody will ever know. And then you'll still have your realism without the outline. Bless you. But you felt, bless you. But you felt more comfortable with your burn. So if you feel you need to, go for it. Just turn your pen down. And when I say, let me find some place to outline, just so I can give an example. We know this tip carries the heat longer, so I need to turn it down. Get it as low. I'm going to do a stem. Actually, you know what? No. I am going to do an actual part of the horse very quickly. I know we're supposed to be doing mouth, but shoot, I don't got a reference photo for this. Oh, yeah, I do. All right. Let's use this one. So we have some darkness from the chest of the horse. So if I didn't feel comfortable and then I felt like I needed to outline, I would turn my heat down, because it's still high for this pen. And then very lightly, I would outline very lightly. And I'm only doing this because I know I can blend this in. So I'm not worried about it. Alright, so we have...
Did I tell you that Robert Fisher was here?
Hey, Robert! No, you didn't.
I was waiting for you to stop, and then you stopped, and then I was like, did I tell you?
Alrighty, so now I can erase. Now, poplar seems to be a little harder on the erasing. So I'm trying to carefully erase and not lose the rest of my pattern. So you can see how light this was. And because I know this is a dark area, when I go to blend it, you will never know I outlined it. Now, if you're working with the white like we are, or a light like we are right here around the mouth, you have to be very, very careful. Let's see here. And that's more of what the negative burn is for. Because even right now, it's burning too hot for me to outline it. And all of this is going to be pushed back anyway. So you can see the difference in lighting. Now every pen, the heat setting is different. Different amounts of metal carries heat a different way. In fact, I'm going to switch over to the 18 small. I hope, Robert, did you get everything situated with your coal wood? From what I understand, it's probably your quartz. Because I did ask about it, but not to coal wood. It's probably your quartz causing the buzzing. Because if the pen's buzzing, it shouldn't be. Alrighty, so I've got the 18 S barely heating up. And we'll see the difference. So with outlining here, let's see here, how dark is this? What did I do? Alright, this is still a dark.
You know, if there's some resistance building up in his cord somewhere, he'd be able to feel a point of heat somewhere in the cord. But you also have to be careful with that, because if there's a break in the protective layer of the cord, you could also shock yourself.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's why he needs to contact Colwood, because that has actually been a issue. Alright, so that was even lighter. And when I erase, you barely see it. I mean, you can see it because I've zoomed in and whatnot. But it's so light that it's the easiest thing to blend. Let's see if we can do a little bit. I'm just going to do a little bit along the cheek.
Robert says, I have, thank you, waiting on you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So, just barely touching. And see, you can see how light and burning. But in burning and then dragging it out, I'm blending at the same time. And I know that seems like a lot at once. So we're going to get back up to the cheek. We have some darks here. We need to follow that muscle. So this cheek curls around. And so if you pay attention, you'll have your hair going in one direction, it starts turning, and then it starts curving around. And that's because this muscle right here is what's controlling how the hair is laying on the cheek. It's the muscle's fault. And see, I'm a little too light. I'm going to bump up to, because it's a different pen, I'm going to bump up to 1.5. Because we do have some darker here. Now, if you're using carbon to transfer, when the heat comes near it, it's going to melt that carbon into the grain, which is why it doesn't erase. So if you're having that problem, you really need to switch over to graphite paper. If you can't afford it, you can make your own, which will work just fine. You just need, I would say, 4B or higher pencil. Alrighty, so let's get, I'll stay focused here because we got some darks. Excuse me. There's something I want to call the pollen that I'm gonna be good.
Okay.
Well, am I gonna be good?
Are you? I don't know.
It was a descriptive way of what to call pollen. That I thought was hilarious and fits. Do you want to hear?
You want to tell it?
Tree sperm.
Oh, well, that's...
It's exactly what it is.
It's accurate.
It is tree sperm. Alright, using the edge. Just the edge of this tip. So I don't know how... Is it showing when I'm using the edge? Kind of. Let me see if I can angle it a little bit more. Let's see if this will help me. So when I say use the edge, that is, I'm looking at the camera and trying to make sure I can see. Luckily it's a light enough heat setting that if I screw up I can fix it, because I'm burning through the, well, watching. Okay, now it's getting too, if it gets too uniform, make some bigger strokes and go over. But short hair is a shorter stroke. So if we were doing a long-haired dog, the strokes would be much longer. And then I can go back and detail them out a little bit more to break them up. See, here it goes dark all the way. And then this is all going to have to go darker so that the white fur, so to speak, stands out as white. And it does put a little bit, no, not really. It looks like it puts an indent in the wood, at least for poplar, but I'm not pushing nor high enough heat for that to happen. So it gets following. So where the hair changes directions. Let's see here. You can guess the tip. And this is why you don't need a whole ton of pins. You should be able to use one pin for multiple things. Now we have a muscle. Yeah, we have a muscle that's indenting here. So let's get that in there. And because I'm going slower, it's burning darker. See, this is all. I'm trying to remember how I drew this. Did I draw this to be dark inside? I did. I try to draw the darks.
Well, that comment about pollen made Spence laugh. And
well, that is exactly what it is.
Andrea says I can see.
Oh, good. All right, I will try to do better camera angles like this so you can see what I'm doing. So I know, are we getting close to time? Yeah. So let's see if we got any more questions. Next week we will go to the horse's mane because I think that's going to be what gets the most questions. So we will do that next week.
Do you think that's going to be the main thing they have questions about? The main
Oh,
thing?
no, I got you. I got it. Let's back it up. Well, we're starting to look a little bit like a horse, aren't we?
Burl says, what is the fun of that? The more pens, the merrier, I say.
Oh, I agree. But I know that some people can't afford to buy a whole bunch of pins, so I don't want them to feel like they have to in order to create. It only takes a couple. If you have a general idea of what you want to burn, meaning you want to do animals, or you want to do people, or you want to do lettering or buildings, it only takes a couple of pins, really. Lettering, I think, probably requires a little bit more if you're doing all kinds of lettering. If you're only doing the same type of lettering over and over again, then even then it doesn't require it. Yes, it's fun to have more pins, but I do totally recognize that not everybody can have a whole lot of pins. And I still need to post a photo of my pin holder. Let's see here. I got one pin I need to pull out because it's not an available pin. We tested and did not like it. Yeah, 2 pins actually. So I turned a box into my pin holder. I'm gonna really have to back out. There we go. Oh, we're just gonna send the camera everywhere, huh? Ah! I shouldn't have moved anything. I shouldn't have moved. Alright, there we go. We're all cockeyed, but it'll work. There we go. So, and it spins. So I need to write up a blog on that with a little bit of a pattern because I'm going to make a smaller one for some other tips. And I know not everybody has fixed tip.
And Teresa says, cool, nice job. Spence is laughing hard.
Hey, if all you get out of my lives is, where the hell's my water? Is a laugh, then you know what? I'm not going to hate it.
Spence says, Val looks like she has every pen.
I do not. I do not have every pen.
Because you don't have the calligraphy ones, right?
I do have the calligraphy ones. I don't have every pen because not every pen is meant for flat work. Some of those tips are meant for carvers, for under wings and beaks and under fur, and they just don't work well for flat burning. For the flat burning, I have almost all of them. Yeah, for the flat burning. I'd have to go back and count. Plus I have testers because I do tests for Optima, and that's why I was having to pull some pins. There's a pin we didn't like, so it's not on the market.
Apparently Spence is laughing at Burl.
Oh.
Which is funny because she made a comment, and then Spence is... He said Spence is laughing... Burl said Spence is laughing at me, but almost instantly he's also messaged, I'm laughing at Burl. So
Gotcha. All right.
So they knew what they were doing.
All right, so did we cover everything? Did it make sense? Do you feel like that you can get this part of the horse filled in? Because we've covered from the eye here and around. Next week we will do the hair on the mane. And you'll find that's a lot like hair for people. So either way, you can use it for that. And then, let's see here. Once we have that, because what we do on the face is the same for the legs, same for the neck, same for the ears. So I don't have to sit there and I don't feel, unless somebody asks, I don't feel I need to cover all the parts of the horse, because what you do in the face is going to carry all the same strokes and heat settings is all going to carry over. So I think we will, so next week we'll do the mane. The following week, we will start the dark background, and I think, let's see here, does that give us 2 weeks? Because the first week of July, we're going to be looking at some changes. So I need to get this done in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Shirley says, wonderful idea on the pen holder box, making it turn is a great touch.
Thank you.
Interesting, because when I was like, okay, it turns.
Yeah, he couldn't picture what I
was like, okay, because I wanted to have it pointed towards you, where you, because that's...
angle. I don't like that.
But that's what I would have wanted. But apparently you're tuned into your toasties because they think that's an awesome idea.
Well, I would like to think and turned into my... Then it turned in. I've turned into my toasties. I got the vibe. Well, because I can now reach every pin by spinning it.
I almost said...
Be good. Be good.
No,
Be good. Be good.
I am good.
All right. If we don't got no further questions, Bernadette! Again, please don't forget to subscribe. In July, we're gonna start some beginner projects to help people who aren't feeling as comfortable with some of the harder ones. So I want everybody to feel involved.
Burl says angle sounds great. Oh,
for what you wanted. Yep. It could be done, but I didn't build the box.
It's a preference.
It's a box that I bought at Michael's. Honestly, I had looked at burning it, but it's crap wood, so I don't want to spend the time burning it. It's not very good wood. It didn't paint well, but it was good for what I wanted it for.
Yeah.
So, you know what to say with me now? Now that are you done playing?
Me?
Are you done playing?
I'm doing my job.
Alrighty, say it with me. You're awesome. You can do this. Why? Because you're a pyro artist.
What she said.
Happy burning, guys.
Hey.
Bye.
Spoons for beginners. That's what Burl says.
Spoons for beginners, yeah. Oh, spoons. We'll talk.